Welcome to the Silvi Knows podcast. The Mariners' starting rotation was penciled in before spring training. The big question, will any of their young, talented pitchers rise up and get noticed during Cactus League play? GM Jerry Dipoto made a couple of notable statements at the Mariners' pre-spring training luncheon. One regarding that rotation. He said, "You can write this down. 4 of our 5 spots in the starting rotation are all set. Marco Gonzales will be the number 1 starter, followed by Yusei Kikuchi, who's looking to bounce back from a tough first year in the majors. He had some off-field issues he was dealing with as well. The 3 spot will go to former Oakland A starter Kendall Graveman, who's coming off Tommy John surgery. The 4th spot belongs to promising young left-hander Justus Sheffield. And the 5th spot will be the most competitive leading up to opening day. Justin Dunn seemed to have that inside track to be the 5th starter until the Mariners signed Taijuan Walker just before spring training. Walker is coming off Tommy John surgery. The team has been kind of taking it easy with him this spring, but manager Scott Servais plans on working him in as Cactus League play picks up. I recently spent a week with the Mariners down in Peoria and talked to a lot of the players, including every pitcher in the projected starting rotation with the exception of Yusei Kikuchi. In this podcast, we will hear from those top pitchers, starting with Taijuan Walker. The Mariners signed him to a 1-year, $2 million contract. He had Tommy John surgery in 2018 as a member of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Walker threw 1 inning for the D-backs last season, a season in which he was dealing with a sprained right shoulder as well. He told us he is just happy to be back playing baseball, and that includes being healthy enough just to field ground balls.
I didn't get a chance to have a spring training last year. It kind of kept me inside a little bit, just getting healthy. And the fact I can come out here and do drills again and do PFPs and team defense, it's exciting to me. My body's still getting used to it. I haven't done it in a while, but it's awesome.
How much fun is it to be around this young group of pitchers, too, where you guys seem like a pretty good family?
Yeah, it's really good, and I think the family's only getting stronger. All these guys out here, the young guys, they're hungry. They want to be in the big leagues, they want to win, and they want to help contribute to, hopefully one day getting us to a playoff race and hopefully a World Series championship.
There's potentially 3 guys off of Tommy John surgery that'll be in this starting rotation. Have you shared notes with Marco and Kendall at all and talked about this?
Oh, yeah. We talked about, kind of our journey and, the setbacks we had. When Marco was coming back, he had the shoulder problem too, and I had the same thing coming back too. So I kind of picked his brain a little bit, kind of see how he came back and things he did to stay healthy. From time. I mean, he threw over 200 innings. He did that for a reason. He put in a lot of hard work. So whatever work he did, if he can help me out in any ways too, that'd be awesome.
Is the Tommy John thing almost a small brotherhood?
Yeah, it is. It's funny. I feel like everyone asks, hey, you got a zipper? They call you got a zipper? You got something? Yeah, I got it. And everyone wants to look at the scar, like, oh, let me see your scar. Oh, this looks good. Mine looks like this and that. So,
do you have something you have to get over mentally when you come out to come back throwing from that?
Yeah, coming back from it, definitely. But once you get over that hump, it's almost like it never happened. You want to forget about it because if you keep having it linger in your mind, it's going to mess with you mentally in pitching because you're going to be sitting there searching for something that's not there. If it's still going to hurt, is it still there? So if the sooner you can get over it, the better.
We talked to a lot of the guys, African Americans on this team, about the lack of African Americans in Major League Baseball. It seems to be picking up a little bit. Yeah. But why do you think that more African Americans aren't playing baseball?
I feel like there's a bunch of different reasons. There's playing baseball. It's a longer journey. You have to go through almost every step in the minor leagues to get there, and personally, I feel like I'm not saying basketball is an easier sport, but it's easier to go out on a basketball court and shoot hoops by yourself. To play baseball, you kind of need someone there with you, someone to hit, someone to throw your BP, hit your ground balls. Catch pop flies, even play catch. That's always hard to find, and I don't know. It's just I feel like there's so many reasons why there's not a lot anymore. I know it's growing. I know we're trying to grow it, but it's crazy. I think in my last 4 years, I think this is the first year there's been this many African Americans on a team that I've been on. I think in 16 I was the only one with Seattle, and I think when I went to Arizona in 17, I think I was the only African American on the team. So it's definitely good to see more and more coming up and playing in the big leagues. So.
Yeah, you're right. The Mariners seem to be leading the way right now. There's quite a few.
Yeah, it's crazy. But it's really good to see. So.
Any nickname for you? Because I know there's nicknames going around from Pete Woodworth given to some of these pitchers.
Oh, he didn't give me one, but I don't know. People just call me whatever. Taiweezy, T-Weezy. I mean, there's so many. Pick one, I guess.
What do you think of the creature?
Who's that?
Jack Anderson with the submarine and delivery.
They call him the creature. I guess I can see that. He's a little submarine guy. Yeah. That's
All right,
funny.
man. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah,
appreciate your
yes,
time,
sir.
man. Thanks a lot. My nickname for Walker? Well, at 6'4", 210 pounds, Big Walk seems fitting. Walker will be competing with 24-year-old Justin Dunn for that 5th spot in the rotation. Dunn was taken 19th overall by the New York Mets in the 2016 draft. It was a big piece in the multiplayer trade that sent Robinson Cano and Edwin Diaz to the Mets. Dunn told us one of his goals was to become a member of the Black Aces, an exclusive group of African-American pitchers who won at least 20 games in one season. That list includes the legendary Bob Gibson, as well as Vida Blue, CeCe Sabathia, and Dwight Gooden, Doc Gooden, among others. There's a total of 15 pitchers in that group, so that is one exclusive collection. I asked Dunn the same question I asked Taijuan Walker. With African Americans making up just 13% of major league rosters, why aren't we seeing more black athletes playing in the majors?
I mean, in my opinion, just the access, the ability to play. A lot of African American kids don't have the ability to get 9 other guys, 18 guys to get on the field and play. It's expensive to play. First, you got to get a bat, a ball, a glove. I mean, it's easier to just get a basketball, go to a park and play, or get a football and play 5-on-5 with your friends outside. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just kids don't really have the access to the equipment to go and play first and foremost.
You've set some goals for yourself, I'm sure, as you play in the majors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of them is be a part of the Black Aces at some point in my career, and that's something me and my dad have talked about from a young age. Is there's not many African American starting pitchers, and to be able to join that elite company would be pretty cool.
When you look at the names, the Bob Gibson and Dwight Gooden and some of those, there's 5 that just jump right out. I know Ferguson Jenkins is back there too, but it's like when you look at that list, it's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Very, very impressive. I mean, you named a few. I mean, even CeCe as of late, he's somebody I look up to a lot, and trying to pick his brain and learn how to be a big leaguer, how to do what he did, and have a very similar career to what he did. And obviously he's blessed, and that's some of it, but just the work ethic and understanding what it takes to go out and produce every 5 days on the mound.
Have you had a chance to talk to some of these big leaguers?
Yeah, I've talked to a couple guys. I work out with Max Scherzer, so I got the chance to pick his brain a little bit over the off season. CeCe Sabathia, I talked to him a couple times, and Pedro, got a chance to talk to them. So I've talked to some pretty good guys that have had some success in the show. So if I could take a little bit from each one of them, I think I'll be all right.
What was the biggest thing you would take from them? Anything stand out?
Just be yourself, and understand it's the same game. Nothing's different, and it just comes down to executing. Whoever can execute at the highest rate is going to have the most success. So keep it simple. Don't try to do more than what I have to do. It's get up here and people think you got to be better, you got to do something else. You have to understand that you got here for a reason, and getting here means that you're good enough. So just doing what it took to get you to get here, and fine-tuning some little things here and there, but that's the biggest thing for sure.
One of the things that seems like you're pretty proud of Black history and the guys that came before you that have given you this opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, it goes back to guys, Jackie Robinson, Rosa Parks. I mean, everybody in general, everybody who were the pioneers that catalyzed the entire movement of equality and had to deal with those struggles at that point in time. I owe them my life. I mean, I wouldn't have the ability to go out and do this if they weren't courageous or had the wherewithal to go out and push that issue. So it's an honor and a blessing to be able to carry their legacy on and hopefully continue to try to grow the game in the African-American community.
I want to ask you about the gunnery. Back when you were 13, you left home and went to the gunnery. What was that experience like for you?
At first, it was a shell shock. I thought my parents didn't love me, to be honest with you. But no, went away and kind of tried to think of it as a long, long sleepover. And just happened to be going to school with some of my friends. The hard part was making friends at first. Everybody's coming from different walks of life, from economically, socially, ethnically, so trying to figure out how to walk amongst those people. And then the school for me was very difficult at the start, and understanding time management and having study hall, how to clean my room. You had to handle getting food for yourself. So all that stuff made me mature very quickly. But an experience I loved, and if I had to go back, I would do it all over again. My brother did it. Ideally, my kids are going to do it at some point. So if anybody has the ability to go do it, I would definitely recommend it.
Man, so you're all in on that. Even for your kids, you want to see them in a situation like that.
Yeah, I mean, athletically, it was everything for me. I got with a great coach, and he's the one who helped me get to where I am. I owe him all the credit. Jeff Charndy at the Gunnery was amazing. He coached in the Cape Cod League and has so many great connections, and he helped me get to Boston College, which is, if I wouldn't have went there, I don't know if I'd be in this situation right now. And then the people I've met along the way, from just some roommates and lifelong friends that I've had, and the connections that you build, not only on the field but off the field as well. So,
tell me about your experience in the minors. What's it been like for you at the different levels?
I mean, everything for me has been an upgrade from where I've came. At Boston College, we kind of pride ourselves in not really having the nicest things, and we use that as our advantage. So I came into pro ball and saw a locker room with wooden cubbies and was like, this is fantastic. Well, you got guys from Vanderbilt, LSUs of the world, and they were playing in front of 13,000, 14,000 as freshmen. I was playing in front of 300-400. So everything along the way to get up to the big leagues has just been an adjustment for me, but it's been a blessing, and I'm really fortunate for it.
Where was your best place so far?
The big leagues. But no, Tulsa was a great environment. My favorite place was probably in the Eastern League, Hartford. They just did an amazing job. Sold out crowds Monday to Sunday. Locker room was amazing. Good food, great clubby, close to home. It was amazing.
All right, one last question. What do you have to work on most in this camp, do you think?
Consistency. I think that's going to be the big thing, is being able to take the ball from Skip every 5 days and he know what he's going to get from me. And I think that's what makes Marco so special, is you give Marco the ball, you know you're going to get 6-7 innings of compete baseball, and he's going to give us a chance to win every time out. So whenever I get a chance to touch the ball in camp, it's be consistent, fill the zone up, attack the zone, dominate it, and give Skip a pretty good understanding of what he's going to get each day, day in and day out.
Dunn has been absolutely dialed in on what he has to do to stay in the bigs. He appeared in just 4 games at the end of last season. Justus Sheffield pitched in just 8 games last season for a total of 36 innings. Being just 23 years old, he had his ups and downs and spent some time at Double A Arkansas last summer. He had a great take on that experience. But first, he explained the Mariners' motto this spring. They're wearing T-shirts in Peoria with the initials DMGB. Doesn't matter, get better. We asked Sheffield to explain.
That's been our motto. Skip came in this year, and last year it was Kaizen. Going to Japan, we kind of implemented that, and this year doesn't matter, get better. Win a few games in a row, doesn't matter, get better. Lose a few games in a row, doesn't matter, get better. So we're just trying to get better on a daily basis as a group.
Is that kind of like you realize that you're young and you're growing as a team, and that you guys don't have time to get down?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's just, things can happen going into your favor, and if they don't, honestly, just keep pushing. We're here, we're young, we're talented. It may take some time to, get our feet going and become, contenders year round. But, I think we're heading in the right direction, and if we can keep with that mindset, then I think we'll get there quicker than not.
Watching you guys work out as a group, as pitchers, it sure seems like you're a tight bunch.
Yeah.
You've really formed a pretty good core here. Do you kind of get that feeling that it's more of a family?
Oh yeah, 100%. This is only my second year here. Last year I was filling it out, didn't really know my way around, but this year it's a lot of comfortability. The guys in the locker room, great group. I feel like we already have that chemistry in there. So that's the beginning of the foundation. So we already got that going for us.
How about the ups and downs of last season for you? How motivational was that for you to kind of just spend some time working on your game?
Yeah. You said it right there. Just spending time to work on my game, better myself. I try to get better day by day. Last year had some humps in the road, which we all will. But as long as we get through them and get past it and look back and learn from them, I think that's the biggest learning tool moving forward.
Is that kind of a grounding thing where you kind of just when you get a different assignment, does it ground you as an individual and kind of make you just work harder?
Oh yeah, it wakes you up for sure. It'll wake you up, because reality will hit. I was got sent down to Double-A, and I hadn't played in Double-A in 2 years. So it was just one of those things where, hey, let's get it going. Like, you know, this is not where you want to be, but you know, not where you're going to finish. So that's what I kept telling myself, and took it day by day, and you know, just you know, ate it up when I went down to Double-A with the guys, just meshed with those guys, and it made it easier. So you know, definitely glad that it happened. Looking back now, because I learned from it, but you know, moving forward now, I know how to kind of adjust to situations like that.
Scott said he was always impressed with the way you took that and the way you grabbed it and just took the ball and ran with it.
Yeah. You know, like I said, it was kind of sink or swim for me in my head. So you know, it's time to get going. So like I said, glad I was able to get through that.
Yeah. How about you now? Something this spring where, boy, you're set up to have a great opportunity with this team to run throughout the season. Is there something you're working on individually?
Yeah, just consistency, overall consistency, and every fifth day, my routines, you know, mechanics on the mound. You know, just overall consistent. I want to be the consistent player that every fifth day that I have the rock, you know, my team's going to know that we have a chance to win that day.
You don't happen to get your hair cut by Braden Bishop, do you?
I have before, yeah. He's nasty. He's got a steady hand now. He's nice with it. So, you know, they call him Shopsky Shop. So, you know, he's definitely a guy to go to when we don't have barbers in town.
Yeah, because Shed swears by him.
Oh yeah, Shed loves him, and you know, everyone does. I'm telling you, he's smooth. If he wasn't good at baseball, he'd definitely have another career. So,
Yeah.
You know, definitely glad to have him. You know, he keeps us fresh.
That's cool, man. Well, thank you, Justus. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it.
Braden Bishop getting high praise as a barber. Next up, Kendall Graveman. He was the Oakland A's opening day starter in 2017 and 18. So that's the caliber of pitcher we're talking about. Graveman is looking to regain that form as he comes back from Tommy John surgery. At 29 years old, he feels fully rested and ready to go. In our interview, you'll hear him explain why last season, one in which he didn't throw a pitch, was the best season of his career. For now, he's just happy to be healthy again.
I feel great. Going through my rehab stuff last year, didn't really have any setbacks, and thankful for that, but I'm looking forward to getting out and competing and facing some hitters and see what I got.
When you have the Tommy John and you know, Walker had it, Marco had it, do you have a chance to talk to those guys a little bit about what to expect and what they're going through?
Yeah, I do, and I have a newfound respect of guys that are currently going through it and encouraging those guys. Man, it's some long, tough days, long, tough months. You feel anonymous, and the past 18 months has been a growing season for me. It's been the best season of my life, I can honestly say that, but it's challenging, and man, I just feel for guys going through it. I try to encourage them. There's days you feel like you tore it again. There's days you feel like the doc didn't do it right. There's days you're really grinding mentally, and the mental battle sometimes is more tough than the physical battle, but yeah, you definitely talk to guys that have gone through it, and now guys that are currently going through it.
I mean, I see you guys out there. I mean, do you find yourself stretching extra just to make sure that everything's cool?
Yeah, you got a new body now. It's not ever going to be the same as it was pre-surgery, but it becomes your standard, and you figure out who you are for yourself and your body, and you go and you do it the best you can. And I think you might not have. You're not as young as you were, and for me, I found myself, yeah, for sure, stretching more and getting more prepared in the weight room before I go out.
I think it's great. I read something about the fact that you had family first this last 18 months or so, and especially the last 12 months. It must be really important for you to kind of almost, as you rediscover yourself as a baseball player, you rediscover yourself as a father and a husband.
Right, yeah, that for me, that trumps everything. My relationship with the Lord, and then also going into now my relationship with my family, my wife. And then if I don't have a good relationship with her, it's not going to trickle down to my daughter. So I need that to be in place. And one day this game's over, and we'll all be washed up and gray hair and old. And it's like sometimes we don't think about that when we're playing, but that season of life gave me a newfound perspective. And it's so important for me to be able to be a father and a husband, and then be a baseball player, which I have a great passion for, and I love this game.
How about as far as this team and the pitching staff you have here? Scott always says there's a lot of spots open, a lot of competition, but to be a part of this core group that's really kind of on the rise, how does that feel?
Yeah, it is. It's you got special talent in this clubhouse, in this organization, even guys that aren't in big league camp right now with us, that can make an impact in the next few years. And I'm encouraged because people invested in my career early on, and now I'm able to invest in others. I think that's first and foremost. Marco and I have talked about we got to take care of our stuff first and do what we need to do, but we have to help. And Taijuan's now in that mix, and guys that have been around and pitched in the big leagues. But I mean, you look at Dunny and you look at Sheffield and some of these guys that are coming up in Logan, and man, I want to invest in their career just as much, because at the end of the day, I want them to remember me as who I am as a person, and then they're not going to remember my stats or anything like that 10, 15 years down the road.
One last question for you. You have the nickname of Digger.
Yeah.
Who gave you that?
I mean, it just kind of came, obviously the grave digger, grave man, there's a correlation there. So I can't pinpoint a person. A lot of people call me KG, a lot of people call me Gravy. So it just depends. It just flows off some people.
Does anybody call you Digger?
Not much. You don't get it much anymore over here. Sometimes in Oakland I would, but, kind of maybe we change that name on the back of the jersey this year to something else. So you never know.
Well, I heard that Carl Edwards is a string bean slinger.
Yeah. So there's no telling what goes on in that clubhouse, the conversations, and that's what I'll miss the most. And we sit here and laugh about it and have fun, but those memories and those times where somebody is jokingly coming up with a nickname for you is stuff that guys miss the most when they get done with the game.
Awesome. Thank you, Kendall.
You.
Hey, good luck this season. All right. You hear that a lot when pro athletes have to miss time with an injury or at the end of their careers, that first year after they retire. It's the camaraderie they miss the most. If Graveman and Walker don't have any complications, they'll join Marco Gonzales as 3 pitchers in the starting rotation who have all worked their way back from Tommy John surgery. Gonzales is being counted on as the ace of the rotation. He's the leader of the staff and a big voice on this young team. I watched him firsthand get pulled in a lot of different directions at the start of camp, and while he's ready to embrace his role on the team, I could tell he was a little frustrated at times with his busy schedule off the field.
It's a learning process for sure. I'm just trying to have fun with it, honestly. Watching all these young guys come in and compete, it's easy to be a fan and kind of cheer them on and give them the guidance that they need. They're all working their tails off and trying to do it the right way too. So it's been fun to watch.
We talked to Graveman yesterday about TJ and the fact that you had it and Taijuan Walker. There's possibly 3 guys in the starting rotation that would have it coming off that surgery. What can you guys share about Tommy John surgery?
Just being appreciative of being on the mound. When you have that time away from the game, your perspective starts to shift a little bit, and you are very, very grateful when you come back of what that means to be on the field and healthy. So if anything, I hope to just share a little perspective of how lucky we are to play this game, how lucky you are to be healthy. I think that goes a long way.
Do you guys ever compare notes about how each other's body reacts and how they're feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a constant, be in tune with how you feel, listen to your body. Those are things we're trying to share with the younger guys to try to be preventative, stay injury-free.
Is there a fear that when you go, is there a mental block that you got to overcome when you come back from Tommy John?
Definitely. I think there's a bit of time in there where you're realizing, that how fragile your arm really is, and when you start to rip a baseball again, it's a scary feeling, and I think that takes a while. It takes some time. You have to have a good bit of patience to be able to come back from it. So, but when you do, like I said, you're just very appreciative of the journey that you've been on.
One of the hot topics is sign stealing as a pitcher and a catcher. How do you guys? Is there a way to avoid that at all, or at least cut it down?
We've tried. We've done our best. I feel like pregame meetings going into games against certain teams. That we've spent more time talking about how we're going to hide our signs and what sign sets we're going to use, how we're going to switch back and forth. We spend more time on that than we do scouting the hitters sometimes. So it's an unfortunate part of the game. I don't think that that's what pitching should be. I think it should be about competing and especially with no one on base. I don't think you should have to do a ton of signs. I think you should just have to go for it and just kind of compete best on best.
Are you surprised how many other athletes in other sports have come out to speak about that whole thing?
No, I think I encourage it. I think it's athletes supporting one another. Especially athletes who have done things the right way their entire careers. And for me and for a lot of guys in this clubhouse and around the league, we've played this game our entire lives, and so we're proud to be here. We're trying to make people proud in our lives who have supported us. So the last thing we want is to feel taken advantage of. So I'm not surprised by the frustration and the outreach, the outspokenness.
You ever let Braden cut your hair?
I haven't yet, but I'm kind of due for one, so I might need to go back there and see what he's all about.
And what's with the ping pong in the clubhouse, man? Everybody's pretty intense about that game.
Yeah, that's got a new top, for the pool table. Put a ping pong cover on it, and it's been pretty fun to see everybody kind of compete and just let loose, have fun. I think that's what makes this team great right now is that we're young, we're full of energy, and guys are wanting to be together, and I think that's where this thing's going to start.
Yeah, I mean, there's a great young core of guys coming up. It feels like everybody from Double A is like a family, and it feels like you guys have a really young, tight family in a quick amount of time.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I think the group that's coming up and was together in Double A, this young crew, they want to play the game the right way. They want to be great. A lot of them want to run before they walk, so we're trying to set the steps to kind of get them comfortable in a routine to contribute at the big league level.
All right, one last question. I think I'm under 5 minutes. The Jack Anderson's delivery is that submarine delivery is fun to watch for us. But do you guys have fun with that when the guys you got a couple of guys out here that have that kind of different arm angle?
Yeah, I mean, it's letting your personality come out, letting who you are, be who you are and have fun with it. Jack Anderson, we call him the creature. He's fun to watch and he's nasty. So I hope he gets a shot. I hope he gets an opportunity. I can't wait to see all these guys come up and contribute.
I talked to Pete yesterday about the different nicknames different pitchers have. Do you have one in any of your levels of baseball?
For me?
Yeah.
No, my nickname's kind of always been Gonzo, and just kind of going off the last name, so I'll stick with that.
The creature's got to be one of the best.
Creature's a good one.
All right, Marco.
All right,
Thanks
man.
a lot, man.